So hi guys, going to be doing chapter 4, demand. So your learning outcomes are you have to be able to define demand and law of demand, accepting exceptions to the law of demand, show 4 ways in which demand can be expressed, discuss the most determinants of demand, distinguish between demand and quantity demanded, distinguish between a movement along the demand and a shift of the demand curve, distinguish between individual market demand. So those are your learning outcomes. And then um okay. In the previous chapter, okay, so let me just start here. The focus in this chapter is exclusively on the goods market. Also, here we're just explaining what we learned of the role of the goods market and the factor market. And the goods market, that is the market whereby we purchased our final goods and services, which you're going to use for consumption, right? And you remember what your goods markets are your SPAR, your Pick and Pay, where you purchase your goods which you're going to use for consumption. So you demand something because you want it and also because you are able to buy it, you can afford it. So if you're demanding something, you have the desire to have that thing, and also you have to be able to afford that particular item of which you're demanding. So for instance, if you are demanding a laptop, it's because you want it, you have the desire to you desire to have a laptop because maybe you need it, and also you can afford it. So you can't demand something that you cannot afford. So for instance, I can't demand what can I say? Maybe a Louis Vuitton bag, if that even makes sense, because I can't demand that. Most people they say that you can buy a car with just a bag, a handbag and shit, yeah, Louis Vuitton. So imagine me being able to even desire that and even being able to afford that. It's highly impossible. So I can't, so you demand something if you want it, you desire it, and also you can afford it. Yeah. And then your wants, those are your unlimited desires, just basically something that you wish to have. The demand is only effective when a consumer is willing and able to buy. So as I mentioned earlier, was you would demand something when you can afford it and you want it. So you have to be willing to 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 purchase that item, and you have to be able to buy it, meaning that you can afford it. Then demand is effective. But if you are not willing to and able to buy it, then there's no demand there. Demand is a flow. We say demand is a flow because sorry. We say demand is a flow. Remember from chapter 2, I think we said ultima flows. Flows they have there's a time dimension, and also that we say flows they happen continuously, just like your income. Made an example of your income to say your income, example, in your salary, good, okay, at the end of the month, I'm going to receive this amount. So there is a time dimension, and also it is continuously because it happens every month, good, okay, every month I'm receiving this amount of income and so on. So flows, they occur continuously, and yeah, so they measured over a period of time. We also know that. So demand, we say, is a flow because you can demand something today, demand something else tomorrow, demand something now at, like, maybe you can demand something at 1 o'clock. At 3 you're demanding something else, it happens continuously, and also it changes also. So yeah, demand is a flow variable. Demand relates to plans that households have that have not taken place. Also, you demand something because you plan to buy the thing, but maybe you haven't bought it now, but you plan to buy it. Like some of us want to buy my laptop. We demand the laptops, but we plan to buy them. Maybe we have not bought them as yet. It is a hypothetical construct. What if the price were a certain level? How much quantity would your consumers buy? That's just a question. But okay, demand refers to the quantities of a good and services that potential buyers are willing and able to purchase during a certain period. So demand, it refers to the quantities of a good. Oh, okay, let me see if I can be able to highlight here. Okay, I can. So they say demand refers to the quantities. Why this highlighter? Okay, so I'll just use this spot. Right. So demand refers to the quantities of a good and a service that potential buyers are willing and able to purchase. To demand something, you have to be willing and able to purchase. It means that you have to afford it. So it refers to the quantities that we, the buyers, are willing and able to purchase. That's just demand. You have to know that's what you're demanding something because you are willing and you're able to purchase it. And demand also refers to the quantities now that buyers are willing and able to purchase during a certain period. So there's difference between the quantity demand and demand. So demand is just basically the quantities of goods and services that buyers are willing and able to purchase during a certain period, right? So the law of demand states that there is a negative or inverse relationship between the price of a product and the quantity demanded. So there's an inverse relationship between there's an inverse relationship between the quantity of the product and the price. So I want to show this in a diagram. Okay, here's a diagram. But let me just read here. A positive relationship is one whereby, okay, no, this one it shows a negative relationship. So the law of demand, it just basically states that there's an inverse relationship between the price and the quantity demanded. As also, this is illustrated by the demand curve. The demand curve is downward sloping to indicate that there's an inverse relationship. So let's say the price was here. Let's say the price was here and the quantity demanded is here. So let me just say this price is 10 Rand. And then if the price is 10 Rand of this particular item, then maybe the quantity is 7 here. So to illustrate the inverse relationship, I'm just going to say, let's say now the price decreases from 10 maybe to 5 Rand. So the price of this item now is 5 Rand, right? So now the quantity demanded, look at what the quantity demanded will be. The quantity demanded now will increase from 7, maybe let's say this is 11. So the law of demand, it indicates it shows ukuthi there is an inverse relationship between the price and the quantity demanded. In this case, the price was 10 Rand. So when the price was 10 Rand, the quantity which was demanded was 7. You see, because the price was high. Let's just say this is the price of bread. Let's just say this is maybe bread. You okay, let me use this. Let's just say maybe this is the price of bread. Okay, so when the price of bread was 10 Rand, we're demanding 7 quantity of bread, right? We're buying 7 bread. Now we heard about the price decreased from 7 Rand to 5 Rand. Obviously now because the price has decreased, you're going to demand more quantities of bread because now it is cheaper to buy bread. So you're going to demand now your quantity demanded will be what? 11. So it has increased by how much? Okay, you calculate the difference. I don't know, but it has increased from 7 to 11. So now you're demanding more quantities of bread. This is the inverse relationship. Also, if the price were to also increase, let's say the price was 10 Rand, then it increased to, let me just use a different thingy. Okay, you can't change the colors here, different pen. So now let's say, okay, you can, let's say now the price was 10 Rand and then it increased from 10 to like 15 Rand. So now the price of bread is 15 Rand, right? So look at what would happen to your quantity demanded. Your quantity demanded will do what? Will decrease from 7 Rand to maybe now you're demanding only just 2 bread, 2 loaf of bread. So this is showing also an inverse relationship to say if there's a inverse relationship between the price of a product and the quantity demanded. Because now if the price of bread was 10 rand, when the price of bread was 10 rand, you're demanding 7 quantities. When the price of bread increased now from 10 to 15, your demand decreased from 7 to 2. Because now the price of bread it's the bread is expensive for you now. You understand? So this is why we say with the law of demand, there's an inverse relationship between the price of the product and the quantity demanded. Um, yeah. So what do they say here? The demand state that there's an in negative relationship between the price of the product and the quantity which is demanded. Yeah, there's a negative relationship. Also because you can see that the demand curve is negatively sloping, Jay. So it's easy to remember because okay, there's a negative relationship because it is downward sloping. You know that we read our graph from left to right. So you can see if you start from left, you're going to right. This is downward sloping, which shows us there's an inverse relationship. Therefore, we know if the price is increasing, the demand will decrease. If the price is decreasing, the demand will increase. Also, nje, because it makes sense to say if the price of an item is up, we will demand less of that product because now the prices are very high. But now if the price of that particular item is decreased, we'll demand more of that product because obviously now it is affordable. So the question here is, what is the demand curve downward sloping? We've already answered this to say, Guti, it is downward sloping because of the law of demand, which states, Guti, the price of a product and the quantity demanded has an inverse relationship, meaning that if the price increase, the quantity demanded will decrease. So there's a downward sloping just to show the inverse relationship, and then you can just explain further again to say because if the price increase, the demand will decrease. We also have these exceptions. Sorry. We have exceptions to the law of demand. But this is not relevant now for us to know. But then like I'll just read here to let you guys know what these things mean. So verbal goods, those are like goods that are unique, such as your diamonds and yeah. It refers to the desires to possess a unique commodity, having a prestige value, such as to purchase of diamonds. Given goods, those are a special variety of inferior goods. We know what inferior goods are. So our given goods, those are special inferior goods. Inferior goods are goods where now if your income increases, you buy less of them. So they have an inverse relationship with the income, inferior goods. And then you also have a bandwagon effect. That bandwagon effects, those are the goods where now if they are influenced by fashion, popularity, and trends. So for instance, I'm gonna give an example of Ikapa. I think it was last year or the year before that when it was in fashion, most people were buying it. So yeah, these ones they are influenced by nje. But what do they say here? Empathy is a psychological phenomenon in which people do something primarily because other people are doing it, yeah, regardless of their own beliefs, which they may ignore or override. So yeah, they give an example to say Cristiano Ronaldo's hairstyle. So if you are a fan of Cristiano Ronaldo, you see him doing a particular hairstyle, also you want to do it, which is why I say they're influenced by fashion, by trends, and also popularity. There was a time where everyone was purchasing what's this? A cash time, just because it was popular, because maybe it was on fashion at that time, then people were purchasing it. So bandwagon effects are those goods. Yeah, exceptions follow. Determinants of demand. They say, I want to remove this. Okay. The product's own price causes a change only in the demand curve, a change in the quantity demanded. So if the price of the products changes, there's only going to be a change in the quantity which is demanded. So let me just draw an untidy demand curve here to just illustrate what they're talking about. So here you have your price, and here you're going to have your quantity, right? Quantity demanded. So what they're saying here is that if the price changes, so let me say the price is, let me use another color. So let's say the price is here. This is bread also. So let's say the price of bread is 10 rand. And so the quantity which is demanded with the price of bread is 10 rand. Let me just say it's 7 euro. So when the price of bread is 10 rand, the quantity demanded is what? It's 7. 7. And then let me use another color to say, okay, now when the price of bread maybe like decreases from 10 to 5 rand, also because of the inverse relationship, we know the quantity will increase if the price is decreasing. So if the price decreased to 5 rand, and so maybe the quantity demanded now will be what? 11. So this um thing here, which they're talking about sustainability, if the price of the product changes, there's going to be the price causes a change along the demand curve. Sustainability, if the price changes, it will cause a change along the demand curve. Or sometimes we say it's a movement along that demand curve. You can see here, Guti, when the price was 15 rand, it was here, the quantity was 7 rand, so the you say the point is here, and then when now the price is 5 rand, the quantity is 11 rand. So this is where your line meets. So as you can see, there was just a movement along the demand curve. So it went from here to here to show there was a decrease in the what? In the price. You understand? Also, even if the price was to increase, there was also going to be just a movement along the demand curve, because your price will increase to maybe like 11 rand, and your quantity demanded, maybe let me just say it will decrease to 2. So now you're buying 2 quantities of bread. Also, you can see there's just a movement here along the demand curve to show what's okay. So in this side, there was just an increase in the what? In the price, which only caused a movement along the demand curve. So this is what the statement is saying. It's able to the product's own price causes a change along the demand curve. So there's going to be a change along the demand curve. It doesn't move the entire demand curve, but there's just a change along the demand curve. So the price of the product, whatever product it is, it will only cause a change or a movement along the demand curve. This is very important to know, that the price of the product only causes a change um, along the demand curve, or just a movement along the demand curve. So the shift of the demand curve. So what causes now the shift of the demand curve? The demand curve to shift to say, okay, now the demand curve is moving from, so maybe it's like this. So what will cause now the shift, the demand curve to move from here to here, or I need to move from here to here? These are the shift. But when what we saw before this was just the movement along the demand curve, which is caused by the change in the price of that product. So the shift will be caused by the price of related products. The price of related products could be your complement goods or your substitute goods. Complement goods are those goods that you use them together. It could be your toothpaste and your toothbrush. So if you're buying a toothpaste, you're going to buy a toothbrush, obviously, because you use them together. It could be your what other goods are complements good, guys? It could be your pen and your book, your exercise book that you write on. It can be your and so on. And then your substitute goods are those goods that if you can replace this good with the with the other good. You use this one in replacement of the other good. So for example, if you some people prefer to eat beep bread, it's beep. Yeah, and some people prefer to eat sasko. So if you can substitute usasko with ubb. You understand? You still get the same satisfaction from both of these good, but like you can substitute them to say, okay, let me use this one instead of this one. Another one would be your fresh pack and joy box. Okay, I saw this example here, the fresh pack and hero box here. So some people prefer to drink a fresh pack, some people prefer a five roses. These are your substitutes. Also your Sasko and your Albany, they are substitute. You can choose to use it Albany or you can choose to use it Sasko. So you get the same satisfaction, Gina. Also your this is beef and pork, I think. You see, those are your substitute goods. Or also here are the examples of your complements good. They give your petrol and maybe petrol and diesel, and then your complements, no, your car and your petrol, they're complement because in order to use your car, you need petrol. And then sugar and tea, they are complement because they're used together. Milk and tea as well, they're complement because you use them together. So those are your complements goods. Also they say the income of the consumer. So if the consumer income changes, there's going to be a shift of the demand curve, the taste and preferences of the consumer. So if your taste and your preferences change, also there's going to be a shift of the demand curve. Let's say all of a sudden you decide to be a vegetarian. So your demand for meat and everything, you no longer demand that. Now you're going to start to demand your vegetables and maybe organic stuff. I don't know what vegetarian eat, but yeah. So your taste and preferences also they change the demand. They are shifters of demand. Household size, if you are five, now you have now you are six in your household, so your demand will also shift. Maybe like if you are three, now you are 10. So maybe when you are three, maybe you're buying two loaves of bread. Now because you are 10, now you have to purchase maybe like five loaf of bread. So also the household size, expectations of the future, income and prices. Also expectation, the shifters of the demand. So let's say you expect to go team next week, maybe you are going to get your allowance, maybe. Next week, you're going to get your allowance. Then for the demand for goods and services now will increase. You start to place some orders, go Shein and yeah, all these other stores because you know what you're gonna get your income next week. Yeah. So those are the shifters of the demand curve. I wanted to illustrate them, but like I want to see if there isn't okay, there is an example. So let me just show them here. So let's say now I'm going to start with the complements good. So let's say you have um complements good. I said Ruti, those were what? Those were your toothbrush and your toothpaste because you use them together. Your complements good, they are used together. So I'm just gonna say this is your, let me just use this. Um maybe this is your toothbrush. Let me just write TB. This is your toothbrush because I have to do another diagram color. And then this is a complements good, and this is your toothpaste. So, okay, you know what to get here. You have your price, you have your price, have your quantity on this side, have your quantity also here on this side, quantity demanded-ish. Yeah, it's quantity, guys. So, and then you have your demand curve, which is downward sloping, showing that there's an inverse relationship between the price and the yield and the quantity which is demanded, right? So you have your demand curve here. So if these are complements goods, and they are used together, it means that if the price for your toothbrush, let's say if the price for your toothbrush increase like this, maybe it's, okay, maybe let's just say your price of your toothbrush was here. Let's say it was, your toothbrush was 5 rand. Your toothpaste was here. It was, what is more expensive, a toothbrush and a toothpaste? I'm just gonna say your toothpaste is 10 rand, 10. And then the quantities here, the quantities here. So if the price of your toothbrush now increase from 5 rand, let's say it goes here to maybe 10 rand. Now your toothbrush is 10 rand. Because toothpaste is a complement good of a toothbrush, it does not mean I will. I just I don't want this to happen, yes. It's okay, guys, it's okay, it's okay. Everything is going to be all right. Everything is going to be all right. Yeah. So I was saying, let's say toothbrush and your toothpaste, those are complement good, right? Because we use them together. You need a toothbrush and you need a toothpaste. You can't use your toothbrush without your toothpaste, so that their complements good. So I was saying now, if the price of your toothbrush increase, what's going to happen to your to the demand of your toothpaste now that your price of your toothbrush has increased? So let's look. Oh my goodness. Let's look at what will happen to your toothbrush first. So if the price of your toothbrush increased from 5 rand to 10 rand, the quantity is the quantity is going to decrease from this to this. Can you see, guys? You, I'm scared if I wrap this thing, it's gonna wrap everything. Okay, thank God. So I was saying your quantity demanded will also decrease from this to this. Can you see it moves from here to here, the quantity demanded of your toothbrush? Because what? Because the price increased. Then what is going to happen? Get to your demand of the toothpaste, because they are used together, right? They are complement goods. So also because your quantity has decreased for your toothbrush, obviously the quantity for toothpaste as well, it will also decrease. So excuse me, so the demand curve for your toothpaste will shift to your left, showing that your quantity demanded is what your demand, basically, not your quantity demand, your demand for your toothpaste is what is decreasing. Can you guys see? Because they are complement goods. So because we're going to buy less of a toothbrush, obviously we're not going to be demanding toothpaste because toothbrush is used together with your toothpaste. So if we're buying less of a toothbrush, then it doesn't make sense to continue by demanding the same quantity of a toothpaste now that we're buying less of a toothbrush. Do you guys understand? So it's like, yeah, nje. So those are the complements good. This is the relationship that they have in terms of the shifters of demand. Also, I wanna say now, let's say that if there's a decrease here in the price of your toothbrush. So your toothbrush was 5 rand, now it's maybe like 3 rand. Just gonna say it's 3 rand, right? And the quantity is here. So it increased from this orange line to this red line. So your quantity now is here, right? So what's going to happen, get to your toothpaste, because you see the quantity demanded for toothbrush has increased now that the price has decreased. So the toothpaste, which is a complement of your toothbrush, and it's they're used together. I did say that they're used together, you use them together. So if you buy more of the toothbrush, obviously you need to buy more toothpaste as well, because they're used together, right? So also the demand for your toothpaste will also increase like this. So it will shift to the right like that. You guys understand? The same thing would happen if there was an increase or decrease in the price of the toothpaste. the same thing would happen to your toothbrush. There would be a decrease or an increase in the demand for your toothbrush. Hope this was clear. Now I want to explain the complements. Sorry, the substitute. These are for the if the goods are complements. So now let's say you have your substitute goods are it's your BB. Okay, let me use this. Firstly, let me just draw. Substitute goods are goods that you can use in place of another. So maybe like if you don't find this one in the store, you can just buy the other. Or if the other one is expensive, you can substitute it with the other one. So those are your substitute goods. So here you have your price, have your price, have your quantity here, have your quantity. Yeah. And then I'm gonna make an example of OBB and umani usasco. Sasco. So yeah. So now let's say the price of BB is here. Let's say it is 5 Rand. Again, I'm just gonna use 5 Rand, 10 Rand. Yeah, those numbers. And your quantity demanded when the price is 10 Rand, let's say it is the quantity demanded is okay, no, let me just not write the quantity, but this is the quantity which is demanded when the price is 5 Rand for bread, right? So if the price for BB increase, which is to 10 Rand, which is a substitute of a SASCO, what's going to happen to its demand? Yeah. I should have used another color so that it's clear. What do you think, guys, would happen to its demand if the price of BB, which is a substitute of a SASCO, increase? You can see that if the price of a BB increases from 5 Rand to 10 Rand, the quantity which is demanded will also decrease. Can you see, guys? It went from here to here. So quantity demanded will decrease. So what would happen to Isasco if the price of BB increases? So the decrease in the quantity which is demanded is already telling us that people are not going to buy BB bread. So because BB has a substitute which is Sasco, Albany, and so on, therefore this means the demand for your Sasco will then increase because more people are going to leave UBB and go and purchase any Usasco. This is supposed to be a point. You guys understand? So if the price of the substitute good of EBB, which is a substitute good of ESASCO, people will move and purchase ESASCO because now EBB is expensive because the price is increased. Sorry, because the price is increased. Also, if the price of EBB maybe decreased from 5 Rand to this to 2 Rand, how am I 2 Rand? So now the bread is 2 Rand. Obviously, people are going to the quantity demanded for bread is going to increase. You're going to demand more bread. Now it's 2 Rand. Everyone will want to buy BB bread. So what would happen to Sasco Gay? Because now we're going to be buying more BB. It means we would see the demand for Sasco will decrease. Will decrease. So it will shift to your right, like this. This is supposed to be an arrow. It will shift to your right like this. So yeah. Same thing if the price is increasing for Sasco, the demand for BB will be increasing because now the price for Sasco has increased. Also, if the price for Sasco decreased, people are going to demand more Sasco. Therefore, the quantity demanded for Sasco will increase. Therefore, the demand for BB will decrease. So it will come here to your left. I hope you guys are clear with this one. For my substitute goods. So my substitute goods, what can I say here? My conclusion, if the price decreased, then the demand for a Sasco, which is a substitute for BB, will also decrease. So they have a positive relationship. Can you see? My substitute good, the price and the demand, because like if the price for one would decrease, the demand for the other good also decreases. And also if the price for BP increased, we notice that the demand for SASCO increased. So you can conclude to say that they have a positive relationship. I'm a substitute goods with the price and the demand, obviously. And then the income of the consumer, this one I can just explain it to say if your income increases, you're going to demand more goods and services. So your demand curve will shift like this. This one is just like easy. So your demand was initially here. Now your income increases, then your demand will shift this side. Also, if your income decreases, then your demand will shift. If the demand for consumers decreases, the demand will decrease like that. Taste and preferences. If your taste changes, now you are vegetarian, therefore your demand for veggie, if this was a veggie, just wanna write veggie only. If you're now a vegetarian, so your demand for veggies will increase. If therefore your demand for meat is going to decrease because now your taste and your preference have changed. Household size, if you're previously 5 people, now you're 10 in your families, therefore the demand will increase. But if some people passed away and now you are 3 in your family, the demand will also decrease. Expectations of the future. So this one is tricky. So if you expect that your income will increase in the future, so if you expect ukuthi you're going to get your allowance next month, your demand for this month will increase this month, not next month. So the tricky part is that if you expect, if you, in the expectations for the future, if you expect something to happen, your demand changes now, not in the future. And also if you expect to your demand in the future, your income in future will decrease. Therefore, your demand now starts to decrease because you know what's in the future you're going to have less income. So yeah, it's the now and in the future. If you expect your income to increase in the future, your demand now increases. Just to make an example, if you expect to go to in future, like maybe next week we're getting our allowance. This week you're going to start going to your, what do you call this? Ocean, your cards, yeah, but yeah, you're going to go there and you start taking things, you start you doing my orders and everything because you know what's next week you're getting your allowance. So yeah, if you expect your income to increase, your demand will increase now, not in the future when your income does increase. So yeah, this is what we spoke about. So the difference between normal goods and inferior goods. Normal goods are those goods that if your income increases, so normal goods are the goods that when your income increases, the demand for normal goods also increase. And also inferior goods are the goods that when your income increases, the demand for those goods decreases. So your inferior goods, I just like to make an example of amakota, your taxi, your amagwinya, fat cooks. So at the moment, because we haven't received our allowance, I'm just gonna say that our income has increased, has okay, no, okay, at the moment, because we haven't received our allowances, most of us are purchasing more of amakota and amagwinya, and to go to town we use taxis, right? But as our income, as we get our allowances next month, then our income is going to increase. We will start to not consume now amakota and amagwinya. Now we'll start to eat pizza and start to order things and all of that, go to fancy restaurants. And oh, not we now will not cash a taxi, but we will Bolt. And yeah. So our inferior goods are those goods that when your income increases, the demand for them decrease, such as your amakota and your fat cooks, your the taxi. Because now if our income increases, maybe let's say next week we receive our allowance. So basically means it's our income increase. The demand for inferior goods will decrease. So the demand for your quota, you will not want to buy a quota anymore because now your income has increased. Now you would want to buy your KFC or you want to go to a restaurant Understand? Those are your inferior goods. Also, if your income increases, then the demand for maybe like a taxi will decrease because now we want to use Ubalti because now we have more income. So your income are your inferior. So inferior goods, it basically those goods that when your income increase, the demand for them decrease. And I gave an example of ikota. I gave an example of um catching a taxi to say ukuthi, if your income increases, the demand for ikota, the demand for a taxi will start to decrease because those are inferior goods. And the normal goods are those goods that when your income increases, the demand for normal goods increases as well, such as the restaurants. Um, Such as the restaurant. Obviously, as I just mentioned to say ukuthi, if your income now increase, you start not to purchase a quarter, but you rather go to a restaurant. So that is because your income has increased, and the restaurant in this example is a normal good because normal goods are goods that if your income increase, the demand for those goods will increase. So now you start going to the restaurant or a car. If you now you're earning more money, getting more salary, then you have to purchase maybe like a car. I think this is Jordan. I don't know my brand, but like you start to purchasing my branded techies or branded items because now your income has increased. So the difference between a normal good and an inferior good is that normal goods, we purchase them more when our income increases. While I'm an inferior good, if our income increases, we neglect them. Inferior good. So the demand from inferior good to towards will decrease. So there's a positive relationship with the normal good because if our income increase, the demand for normal good increase. Also, if our income decrease, the demand for normal good decrease. So there's a positive relationship. While with our inferior goods, they have an inverse relationship with our income because if our income increases for inferior goods, the demand for inferior goods decrease. And also if our income decrease, the demand for normal goods increase. If our income decrease, the demand for normal goods decrease. I don't know about that. But but if our income increases, the demand for inferior goods will decrease. That I'm sure of. Because we associate I use a quarter as an example. If I have more money, I'm not buying a quarter from the shop. Sorry, I'm buying something else. So it is an inferior good for me. We just spoke about this household size, future expectations. So also we have an equation for quantity demanded, which is Px, Pg, Y, T, and A. I think you just have to know this formula and also know what Px is it's the price of the products, PG is the price of the related goods, such as your complement or your substitute or depend. Your Y is the household's income, T, your taste, N, the size of the household. Then you have a demand schedule, which basically lists the quantities demanded at each different price. So your demand schedule is just this. Okay, let me see. Yeah, it's just this. You have your quantity demanded at each price. So when the price is 10 rand, the quantity demanded is 100 rand. When the price is 20 rand, the quantity demanded is 80 rand, and so on. So this is shown where we say this is a demand schedule, which shows the quantity which is demanded at each price. The demand curve is just this line of this is the demand curve, this line. This is the demand curve. So they're saying here it shows the relationship between the quantity demanded of a good and its price. So ceteris paribus, meaning that everything remaining constant. So yeah, we know this already. We see the demand curve, it shows the relationship between the price, we have your price here, and the quantity which is demanded. Shows that relationship. And then let me remove this. We did say this is a demand schedule and it shows the quantity which is demanded at each price. Yeah, they just took these quantities which are demanded, they wrote them here, the price is here, and then they plotted to show the demand curve. And we know it shows the relationship between the price and the quantity demanded. Also, it is downward sloping. It shows the price and the quantity have an inverse relationship. And what else? Yeah, that is the law of demand in geography. If the price is increasing, the quantity demand will do what will decrease, shown with the demand curve, because it is what it has an inverse relationship. It is negatively sloping. Negatively sloping, yeah. Markets, sorry, I can't see because of this. Yeah, market demand curve. So they say market demand is a horizontal summation of all individual consumer demand curves. So the market demand curve, they take um all consumers demand and they group them together to have a market demand. So here they made an example of Andile, Anele, and Amanda. And then those were the price. Maybe this is okay, they said would see this consumer of Jacob's coffee. So they consume Jacob's coffee. So when the coffee is 10 rand, Andile is purchasing 100 units. When Anele is purchasing 50, Amanda is purchasing 150. So the market demand you get in the markets when the price is 10 rand, consumers are purchasing 300 in total. And then if the price is 20 rand for Jacob's coffee, and is purchasing 80, and is purchasing 40, Amanda is purchasing 120. And then the market demand you get, which is the demand for every individual in the market, it's about 240 and so on. So the market demand curve is basically shows the demand of every individual in the market. So they say it's a horizontal summatation. I think it's very important to remember what's a horizontal summatation. And then of all individual consumer demand curves, this one is, it'll be easy to remember this part, but just here remember what it's a horizontal summatation. They also get showing here the demand curve, the market demand curve, and they've grouped all the individuals' demand in the market to get the market demand. Changes in quantity demanded. A change in the quantity demanded is a change in the quantity of the product purchased in response to a change in its price. It shows a movement along the demand curve. I did explain this to say, if there's a change in the price, to say that if there's a change in the price of that product, there's just going to be a movement along the demand curve like this, guys. I did. Okay, now let me just scroll down maybe. Okay. So your price was here. It increased to this, or it decreased to this. You see, if there's just a change in the price, there's a movement along the demand curve, you see, there's a movement along the demand curve. But then if there's a change in demand, so here there was a change in the quantity demanded, which is a response to a change in the price. So if there's change in the price, there's going to be change in the quantity demanded. That will only cause a movement along the demand curve. But if there's a change in demand, and we did mention those non-price factors will change in demand to say that they are price of related goods such as your complementary goods or your substitute goods. Complement goods being the goods which are used together. Substitute goods are used in place of another. And then your income, your household size, your taste and preferences, and so on. They cause a shift. They cause what? A shift in the demand curve. And I did illustrate the shift, guys. I don't think I have to do it again because it takes a lot of time to draw these the demand curves and everything and also illustrate their shift. But just to know what's the quantity demanded, it's response to a change in the price. So if there's a change in the price, there's going to be a change in the quantity which is demanded and the quantity which is demanded. And then that is going to cause a movement along the demand curve, a movement along. But if there's a change in the demand, the non-price factors will cause a change in the demand, such as your complement good, your substitutes, your change in income. Those will cause a shift of the demand curve. So maybe it will shift to the right or it will shift to the left, depending on what is happening. So here they're illustrating a change in quantity demanded to say within Let's say now because of the price, because you know the quantity demanded, its response to the price. So let's say now because the price has increased from 15 Rand to 20 Rand. Obviously, when the price of 15 Rand, the quantity demanded was 12. Now the price increased to 20 Rand, the quantity demanded is 8. So you can see there's a movement along the demand curve. So from A to B, there's a movement. Also, if it continued to increase to here, the quantity demanded would decrease from 8 to this. Okay, let me just show. Let me just show it to say this. Also, if it continued to increase from 20 maybe now to 30, the price is now 30 Rand. The quantity demanded will decrease from 8 to 7 Rand. 7, let me just say 1. So you can see now that there's also a movement in the along the demand curve. There isn't a shift. Even if the prices also decrease and come here, sorry, you can see that the prices decrease from 15 to maybe like 5, and the quantity demanded has increased from 12 to maybe let's say 50. Oh no, let me just say 20. 50 is too much. Let me just say 20. So you can see that there's also a movement along the demand curve. There isn't a shift, guys. So the quantity demanded is a response to a change in price, and that will only lead to a movement along the demand curve, not a shift. Hope you guys are clear with that one. To say it with you, the price only causes a movement along the demand curve, but not a shift. So yeah, let's continue. So the change in demand now. So if there's a change in demand, there's going to be a movement of the demand curve. So, a shift of the demand curve. So you can see now, this is indicating Guti. There's a shift in the demand curve. So here they use an example of a coffee and a Nestle Cremora. I think this is milk, which is used with coffee. So maybe like what happened here is that because these are complement goods, obviously you need this milk for this coffee to exist. So maybe here what happened is that because there's an increase in this one, so I'll just assume we see the price of a coffee, the price of a cremora, the price of a cremora decreased. So obviously if let me just write it down here so that I can see if I'm making sense. So you have our cremora here, have your demand here, then your price was here. So the price of a cremora decreased. So if the price decreased, the quantity demanded increased. So because if you use cremora to make tea, so obviously the demand for tea is going to increase because now we have more milk. What are you going to do with that milk? You're going to make tea. So here they are referring to what? To more complement goods. You guys understand? Can be also substitute good depending on how I explain it. But because I see these pictures, then I'm just assuming it's okay. These are complements because we use a cremora to produce this thing. Yeah, I think this is tea. This is our coffee, but there is a cremora here. So yeah, the price decreased and therefore the quantity increased. So people purchased more cremora. Obviously, they're going to use this cremora to make what? To make tea. So the demand for tea will increase. Yeah, that's just it. So a change in demand, there is a what? There is a shift in the demand curve. If there's a change in demand, there is a shift in the demand curve. And then we have the demand changes. Okay, no, we did this as well. The demand for coffee decrease if the price of your good falls, the price of a complements rise. We did this, also this. So let's just do the thing in the quiz. Which of the following will not cause a shift in the demand curve for tea? Which of the following will not cause a shift? So let me just write it down so that you guys understand where I got the answer. So we have your demand curve for tea. Yeah, I'm just going to write T here for tea. So this is a demand curve for tea. But okay, which one will not cause a shift? will not cause a shift. We know the things that cause a shift, guys. Those are the non-price factors, such as your complement goods, your supplementary goods, your income, your taste, and your preferences will cause a shift. But to not cause a shift, it's only the price because the price causes a movement along the demand curve. So they say a decrease in the price of milk, a complement. This one was already asked because they've used a complement. And here they said not cause a shift. Complements will cause a shift, definitely. An increase in the price of tea, an increase in the price of tea, an increase in the price of coffee, a substitute. This one is out. An increase in our income is also out. So the answer here is B. Didn't even have to do this. When an individual's income rises, ceteris paribus, meaning that everything remaining constant. So if our income rises, what would happen to the demand for beans? An inferior good. So an inferior good, I just say goods, inferior goods are those goods that if our income increase, our demand for inferior goods decrease. We don't want them anymore now because we have money. And I made an example of your quota or your fat cook ingredient to say good if you don't have money, you'll purchase amagwinya and god. But now because your income has increased, you have more money. Your demand for quota will decrease because now you want to purchase something else. Now you want to go to a restaurant. Now you want to eat a pizza or or whatever. But the demand for inferior good, it decreases when your income increase. So what was the question saying here? Was saying when an individual's income rises, so now your income has increased. What will happen to beans and inferior good? Because we know with inferior goods, if your income rise, the demand for inferior goods does what? It decrease because it's an inferior good. One want to buy something else now. So the answer here would be B. You see, the demand for inferior good will fall when your income rises. You guys understood that? I just want to remove all of this. Go to the next question. Where is this thing? Okay, number 3. If milk is a normal good. So normal goods, guys, we just say those are goods that when your income increases, you buy more of them. So it's my inferior goods, those are the goods that when your income increases, you're gonna leave them out, such as a quota. So your normal goods would be the goods that you will buy when your income increases. And those would be your pizza. Now you're gonna want to buy pizza. Now you're gonna want to go to a restaurant and so on. So those are your normal goods. So they say here, if milk is a normal good, meaning that if our income increase, we buy more of milk because it is a normal good. Then a decrease in consumers' income will definitely cause. So they're saying here now, if our income decreases and milk is a normal good, I did say our normal good have a positive relationship with our income. If our income increase, we purchase more of our normal good. If our income decrease, we purchase less of our normal good. So here they're saying if milk is a normal good and our income decrease, what will happen to the milk if it is a normal good? Then therefore the demand for our milk will decrease. So let's look here, come options. They say a decrease in the demand for milk. Yeah, there'll be decrease because they have a positive relationship. We are done. Number 3. Number 4, if there is a successful advertising campaign promoting the health benefits of drinking milk. So there was a campaign and it was successful, right? The keyword here is successful. Promoting the health benefits of drinking milk. So if this campaign was successful, it means that because it was promoting the benefits of drinking milk, it basically means now more people are going to purchase milk because the keyword I did say is successful. This advertisement was successful and was trying to promote the health benefits of drinking milk. So if it was successful, then therefore it would leave people wanting to purchase more milk in order to be what? To be healthy. So they say here, the demand for milk will increase. Yeah, the demand for milk will increase. The answer is A. The answer is A here. And then we move on. This is number 4. Number 4. Number 5. Go to number 5. I was just checking the answers for my book because I had done this. So number 5 is they saying, okay, let me remove Now, we're saying which of the following with regard to a decrease in the demand for cheese, ceteris paribus, so everything remaining constant. Which of the following is true with regards to a decrease in the demand for cheese? So if the demand for cheese decrease, so guys, keep in mind, they didn't say the quantity demand, they said the demand for cheese decreased. So they're referring to this. So this was our demand curve, and then the demand for cheese decreased. So it means that our demand went this side. Do you guys understand? It's not the quantity demand, because if they had said the quantity demanded for cheese decreased, then they'll be referring to something like this, something like this. The quantity demand for milk decreases, they'll be referring to something like this. Okay, let me just write here. So let's say the quantity demanded was here, now it's here, it has decreased. But they're saying here, so there was a movement. But because they're saying that demand for cheese, so it means we would see there was a shift in the demand curve for cheese. So you have to be careful of quantity demanded and demand. Okay, so what is the question in here? It's saying which of the following is true with regards to a decrease in the demand for cheese? So I've already drawn to show the decrease in the demand. Let's see, it's represented by a rightward shift of the demand curve. No, a rightward shift will be this side. Let me just use this different highlighting, this different pen. The rightward shift will be here. And this is showing what's an increase in the demand for cheese. And here they said a decrease in the demand for cheese. So no, this one is not correct. Represented by a movement upward. This is wrong, G. Because in movement, it's already wrong because here we speak of the demand. Movement is illustrated by the price. I did say what you guys remember this thing. So if the price was here, our quantity was here, then if our price increase, the price is here, our quantity is here. You see, there's a movement. You understand? So if they say now there's but it's represented by the movement upward along the demand curve, this is wrong because here we're speaking of a change in the demand and the demand decrease. So this is also not correct. So this is wrong. Most likely caused by an increase in the price of the good. Also, the increase in the price of the good, it will cause a movement, and I've already shown you guys. So this is also not correct. And then it represents by a leftward shift of the demand curve. This one is correct because you can see there's a leftward shift. It was the demand curve was here, it went here. So there was a leftward shift in the demand curve. So the answer here is D. And then they said in the market for bicycles, which of the following variables will decrease the demand? Ceteris paribus, meaning that keeping everything constant. So in the market for bicycles, which of the following variable will decrease the demand? Will decrease the demand. Also, decrease the demand, they're referring to the same thingy. Let me just remove this. They're referring to the same graph as the one that I've drawn here. Why isn't this trying to remove this and this as well? So they're saying here a decrease in the demand. So a decrease in the demand is shown by a leftward shift, right, guys? As we already mentioned here. So the demand has shifted from here to here. So you're showing, we'll see there's a decrease in the demand. Which of the variables would show a decrease in the demand? Oh, they're saying which of the variables. So we need to find more variables here, which indicates which of the following variables would decrease demand. So which variables here would decrease the demand for bicycles? So they say an increase in the price of bicycles. So if the price of bicycle increase, it will not cause a decrease in the demand. It will cause a change in the quantity demanded. So it's not the first one. So the answer is not the first one. It's not A. It's not A. A decrease in the price. Same thing as the price. So it's not B. A fall in the income of consumers. So let me think. So if there's a fall, if our income decreases, as consumers, we're going to decrease our demand for bicycles. So it could be this one. A decrease in the price of a bicycle pump, which is a what? I think they said here, which is a complement product, which is a substitute or My bicycle pumps, it's a complement because we use them together with the bicycles. So if there's a decrease in the price of a bicycle pump, which is let me just show here, but also it's just, okay, so this is my demand curve. This is, these are bicycle pumps, which are complements because you use them together with the bicycles to pump a bicycle. So they're saying a decrease in the price. So let's say the price was here, now it decreased to here. So the quantity demanded will increase. So if there's a decrease in the bicycle pumps, because the quantity demanded will increase, therefore it means that even our quantity, even our demand for bicycles will also increase because now it's easy to pump them because the price of bicycle pumps are now cheaper, right? So the demand will increase. So it's not number D as well. So the answer is C. So the answer is C. Why was C saying then a fall in the income of consumers? Yes, because if our income decreased, guys, so if our income decreased, meaning that now we have less income, the demand for bicycle would decrease. It'll come here, from here to here. We're also done with this one. Hope that was clear. Number 7, the law of demand states that the quantity of a good demanded varies. The law of demand state that the quantity of a good demanded varies. Okay, we know ukuthi vele the law of demand is just stated ukuthi, oh, it varies with what? Maybe this thing is not complete. So here is our demand curve. So the demand curve states that the quantity of goods and services varies inversely with its price. Yes, and this one could be the answer. It varies inversely with its price because they have an inverse relationship. We do say in the demand curve, the price has an inverse relationship with the quantity which is demanded, because if the price increase, the quantity demanded does what? It decrease. And also if the price decrease, the quantity demanded does what? It increase. So they have an inverse relationship with its price. I'm just gonna read the other ones, but like I feel like I already found the answer. But see, inversely with the price of a substitute good, no, not necessarily a substitute good. So if they just ended here, the answer would be correct. Directly with income, no. Directly with population, no. So the answer here is A. The law of demand implies that the demand curve is, I did say this, guys, to say good team. We read our graph from left to right. So if you read from left to right, you can see if you're coming from this side, it's up. Then if you're going to this side, it's going down as you move from this way to that way. You see, it's going down because you read our graph from this side to this side. So since our graph is going down, our curve is going down, it means there has a what? The curve slope downwards. It's slope down. So the answer here is A. The other one was slope up. No, slope up would definitely be supply. And then shift to the right, that is totally wrong. Shift left, right, totally wrong. The answer here is A. And then number 9, what type of good is illustrated in the figure above of income if income increases? So they're saying here if income increases, and what is happening here is that the demand is increasing. So which type of good did I say that when the income, or maybe the slides say that if our income increases, what would happen to that good? So we know that inferior goods, e.g. quota. If your income increase, the demand for a quota decrease. So it is an inferior good. Normal goods, your reassurance. If your income increase, the demand for reassurance does what? Increases. And then here they say what type of good is illustrated in the figure above if income increase. So here we see the demand is increasing from D to D1. Can you guys see? Also the arrows are showing us the demand is increasing. So which type of good is it? Is it an inferior good or is it a normal good? So if our income increases and the demand is increasing as well, it definitely has to be a normal good. Because I also said would some normal good have a direct relationship with our income. If our income increases, the demand for normal goods also increase. So the answer here is B. Number 10, what type of good is illustrated in the figure above if income decreases? So here we see with our income decreased, but the demand does what? It increased. So this is what is an inferior good. If our income decreases and the demand increase, it's an inferior good. Yeah. And then the market demand, I did say, we see this is where now we have grouped together um all the demand from each individual, right? We've grouped the demand from each individual. So I'm just gonna look for all the individual first, and then gonna look for the other keyword, which I said you guys should remember. So here that it shows it shows how much an individual is willing and able. No, this one J is wrong. It doesn't show how much each individual is willing and able to consume at each price. At each and every price. This would be the demand schedule, willing and able to consume. But no, for the demand schedule, it just shows the price and the quantity demanded at each price. So this one is wrong. The horizontal assumption of all the individual demand curves in the market. So this is what I was looking for. All the individual demand curves in the markets. So this one is correct. A vertical summatation, no. So here, you see this one and this one is quite as the same. It's just that here they use vertical summation and here they use horizontal. But the answer is this one. It's horizontal, not vertical. So you guys have to be careful. With the MCQ questions, the answers they all look the same, but then they're tricky. Oh, so that was the end of our thingy. That was the end of our session, right? I feel like this is the last. Oh no, it's not the last one. So this is the last question. They're saying here an increase in the price of product A. This one is going to require me to write, to draw. So I'm just going to draw here an increase in the price of product A. So this is my product A. I'm just going to write product A here for a reason. Okay, I'm just going to leave this like that. So I'm just going to do this. Do this. Also here. So that I can illustrate these in the graph, and you guys can be able to do them also when you in an exam room, or yeah, just you. Um, hey, hi, ish. So I'm trying this for the last time. If he knows I'm just gonna leave it. It's the last time. Okay, now I'm trying it for the last time, last time, last time. But guys, it helps to draw whenever you have these questions, Jay, to do them like this, it will help you. Okay, so we're saying, good, see, they said here an increase in the price of product A. So I'm gonna say this is my product A. Actually, let me just write here. But I don't know why this thing doesn't want to move. This is my product A, guys. Okay, so we're saying here an increase in the price of product A. So let's say this was my demand curve, and then product A, the price of product A was this price, and then it decreased. So let me use a different color, and then the price of product A decreased like this. So you can see if the price of product A decreased, the quantity demanded did what? Increased, right? So we're saying here a price of product A, an increase. Oh, it was an increase. Okay, so let's just use the red color then. So we'll say the orange one was the previous price and quantity. Now the price increased from the orange one to the red. It's here now. Therefore, the quantity demanded decreased. Can you see? So an increase in the price for products A will result in a decrease in the demand for products B. So these are my product. This is my products B. So if products B is a substitute good, this is what would happen. So you have your demand curve, right? And then they're saying that the price of product A increased. So can you see that if the price of product A increased, the quantity demanded for product A decreased, right? So if B is a substitute good, and it means that B can be used to replace OA. So now because OA, the price of A has increased and the quantity of A has decreased, it means that people are going to buy more of the good B. Because now good A, the price of good A has increased. I'm just going to use BB here, BB and Sasco as an example. So let's say you say your price B is Sasco is S, your price A is BB is B. So if the price of BB is increasing, the quantity of EPP is going to decrease because the price is high. People are going to substitute it for what? For Sasco, because now maybe like the price of Sasco hasn't changed. So the demand for Sasco will do what? Will increase like that. You understand, guys? And let's say your A was now A is not Sasco is not Sasco or is not BB. Just gonna use another example to show what's what will happen if A has a complement. So let's just say now these is complement goods. So A maybe is your toothbrush. I'm just gonna put T, and maybe B now is your toothpaste. This is another example, but still with number 12 is your toothpaste. We know that complement goods are the goods that you use them together, right? So if the price of your toothbrush increased from maybe here to here, you can see that your quantity demand of the toothbrush decreased from here to here. So what would happen to your toothpaste, a complement of your toothbrush, if the toothbrush, if the price of your toothbrush increased? Because now the price of the toothbrush has increased, people are demanding less of a toothpaste. It means that also, because a toothbrush is used together with the toothpaste, also the demand for a toothpaste will also decreased. So like this. And then the question here is saying, Lana, if there's an increase in the price of product A, which is this one, what will be the result? Okay, it will result in a decrease in the demand for products B. So they want to know who products B is what? Is it a complement or is it a substitute now if it resulted in a demand for products B? So here was a decrease in the demand for products B. So it basically means your product B was a what? Was a complement. You understand how I got this answer then? You can understand. Yeah. So even in your test, you just have to show these diagram in order to get the correct answer. So number B, they say a decrease in the price of product A. Also, my product A is here. I'm going to show product A and J here. So what happened to product A? There was a decrease in the price. So this is my demand curve. So let me just say this was the price. This was the quantity. Now there is a decrease in the price. Let me use another color. So now my price is here. Obviously, when the price is decreasing, our quantity demanded is increasing. So they're saying that now okay, let me just say with him, I'm also going to use UPP no Sasco. So the price here decreased, right? Yes, the price decreased. I'm going to use UPP no Sasco. So if the price of your BP, this is your BP, and this is your Sasco, which is a substitute of your EBP. So this is my demand curve. If the price of EBP decrease, we're going to demand more of EBP, right? So what's going to happen to Sasco, which is a substitute of EBP? If the price of EBP decreased, there's going to be more demand for EBP, quantity demanded, as you can see, which means we would see the demand for Sasco bread will decrease, because even the people that eat Sasco will buy EBP because now the BB bread is cheap. You understand? So the demand curve will shift to your left to show it's going to decrease. But now let's say this is a toothbrush and this is a toothpaste now, which are complements. So if there is a decrease in the price of a toothbrush, the quantity which will be demanded for toothbrush would also increase, right, guys, from here to here. So what would happen to a toothpaste, which is a complement of a toothbrush, if if the price of a toothpaste has decreased. So obviously, even the toothbrush, the demand for a toothbrush will also increase as well. This is just showing an increase because now the price of a toothpaste has decreased. People are buying more toothpaste. They need to have a toothbrush in order to use their toothpaste. That is why the demand for toothpaste will also increase. So what are they saying here now? Let's see then. They're saying here a decrease in the price of product A, which is this one, and we've shown the decrease, will result in an increase in the demand for product C. As these are my product C, will result in an increase in the demand for product C. So there was an increase in the demand of product C. So the product C will increase if it is what? Is a complement product. So your answer here is complement. And then we go to this one, an increase in the price of product C. I hope this is clear, guys. So here's our product CEO. So here's our product C. Just gonna draw it here. This is product C. This is our demand curve. They're saying an increase in the price of product C. So maybe let's say the price is here. Then now the price increased. So let me use a different color. Just gonna use this one. So any increase in the price of product C. So the price increased from here to here. You can see the price increased. And then therefore the demand decreased from this to this. So the demand decreased because there was an increase in the price for product C. So this is my product C. And then, so if C is a substitute good, so let's say this is BP, this is Sasco again. So if C is a substitute good, what is going to happen? So this is my demand curve. So if the price of BP increase, the demand for, if the price for BP increased, the quantity demanded for BP will decrease because now it is very expensive to buy a BP bread. So obviously, if BP is now expensive, we're going to substitute it and buy a Sasco. So the demand for Sasco will increase. Can you see, guys? Also now, to our if this product C was a complement, no, if this product A was a complement, so what is going to happen? You'll say here with okay, product C, if product C had a complement, what would happen? So let's say product C is a toothbrush and this one is toothpaste. So if the price of the toothbrush were to increase, the quantity of the toothbrush will decrease. Because obviously now it's very expensive to buy toothbrush. So the quantity which you demand will decrease. So what would happen again to our toothpaste now? Obviously, because now we're buying less of a toothbrush, it means even the toothpaste, we're not going to demand a toothpaste because what are we going to use that toothpaste with if we do not have a toothbrush? So our demand for a toothpaste will also decrease. You guys understand? So the question is saying if an increase in the price of product C, and we just use there was an increase in the price of product C, if there was an increase in the price of product C, it decreased the quantity demanded. They're saying here it will result in an increase in the demand for product A. So here's an increase in the demand so there've been increase in the demand for product A. If product A is a substitute good, so you remark substitute good because if product A is a complement good, there'll be decrease in the demand. And here it wants an increase in the demand. So the answer here is substitute. Also, but see the relationship between the changes in the price of a product A and the resultant change in the demand for product C is positive. So they want to see now a positive relationship. It will occur when what happens. So let me just write here. This is going to be here. Just gonna write here like this. So this is going to be my demand curve, and then this is the price. So we're looking for a positive relationship, meaning that if the price increases, the quantity increasing, also the demand is increasing for a substitute or for a complement good. We want to see which one has a positive relationship, basically. So and then let's say here now the price is increasing from here to here. You can see if the If the price is increasing, the quantity demanded will do what will decrease. Well, I could have just done this by looking at these, but I want to do it from scratch so that you guys can see. So the price here is increasing and the quantity is doing what? Is decreasing, right? And the quantity is decreasing. So the relationship between the changes in the price, so they just said the change in price, so I can do an increase or a decrease. So what would happen, Dige, to this product if to product C, if product C was a substitute good. So if product C was a substitute good, if the price increases for product A, if the price increases, the quantity demanded will decrease. So if product A has had a substitute good, if now the price of product A increase, the demand for a substitute good will do what? Will increase because now product A has what? Has increased. But also if product A had a complement good, meaning that the good which is used together with product A, in this case, which is good C. So if good C was a complement of product A, if the price of product A was to increase, the quantity demand for product A will decrease. Also, the demand for product C will also decrease if C was a complement of A. So a positive relationship is seen here when there's a positive relationship because the price increase. So yes, it's here. When the good A is a what? Is a substitute good because we can see what if the price is increasing here because they're saying good see the changes in the price for good A results in a changes in the demand for the products and for product C. So they're looking at a relationship between the demand for product C and the price for product A. So positive relationship, it means that if the price of product A is increasing, the demand for product C also has to increase. And we saw here, Guti, if the price for product A increased, let me just say this is Sasco, this is BP, which is a substitute of Sasco. So if the price of Sasco increased, the demand for BP will increase because more people are going to decrease their quantity demanded for Sasco and would want to demand a BP bread because now maybe BP bread, the price for BP hasn't changed, right? So the quantity yeah, but that was the last thing. I hope you guys did understand. I'm just gonna end the recording.